Let me tell you something that most people miss, money is not just a tool, it's a mirror. It reflects how you think, how you act, and how you value time. You don't just earn money, you attract it by who you become. And if you want to get rich, not just earn, but build wealth that lasts, you must understand the law of money. It's not written in gold ink in a bank's office. It's written in your habits, your mindset, and your disciplines. Most people think the key to financial success is speed, but the real secret isn't how fast you move, it's how aligned you are with the principles that govern money. You can sprint all you want, but if you're running in the wrong direction, you only arrive at failure faster. You must first correct your philosophy. That's the starting point. Money doesn't just follow effort, it follows clarity, discipline, and purpose. And if you're going to earn more, save more, invest smarter, and grow faster, you'll need to retrain the way you think about wealth. Because the poor chase money. The rich position themselves to attract it. So today, I'm not here to give you hype, I'm here to hand you the laws. Laws that work, laws that are timeless, laws that, when followed, bend reality in your favor. And once you understand the law of money and start thinking like wealth thinks, you won't just make money, you'll multiply it. Let's get into it. Let me tell you something that changed my entire financial trajectory. Your income is not determined by how long you work. It's determined by how valuable you are to the marketplace. That's the real secret. Most people are out there asking for a raise, looking for better pay, hoping for some lucky break. But what they often miss is that money flows to value, not need, not time, not frustration, value. If you want to make more money, don't wish the economy was better. Don't hope your boss becomes more generous. Instead, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. That's where it all begins. If you can increase your skill, your insight, your ability to solve problems and lead, then suddenly you become a person the market can't ignore. People don't get paid for their time, they get paid for the value they bring to the hour. Bring more value, and the compensation adjusts. I remember in the early days, I used to think that working longer hours would finally lead to more money. But that just made me tired, not wealthy. Then I realized I could multiply my income by multiplying my skills. I started studying communication, learning how to speak, how to sell, how to teach. I read books, listened to mentors, practiced in the mirror. I became a student of leadership and human behavior. And something strange happened. The more I grew, the more doors opened. The more I learned, the more I earned. You grow your income by growing yourself. So, if you want to attract more income, ask yourself, what do I know that solves problems? What can I do that helps others grow? What am I working on that expands the lives of those around me? Money chases usefulness. You don't need to beg for attention, just become so good they can't ignore you. Start small if you must. Learn how to lead a small team, then a larger one. Learn how to sell one idea, then a bigger one. Learn how to make $100, then how to repeat it. The skills stack. The value compounds, and with it, your wealth. Don't get stuck measuring life by the paycheck, measure it by the person you're becoming. Become so skilled, so disciplined, so valuable that the marketplace has no choice but to reward you. That's the path. Income grows to meet your value, so increase your value and wealth will follow. When I first started out, like most people, I was taught to work hard for money. Show up, put in the hours, get your check. But here's the problem. If the only way you earn is by trading your time, you're locked in a system that has a ceiling. Your time is limited. You can't work 25 hours in a day. You can't clone yourself. And the moment you stop working, the income stops flowing. That's not freedom, that's a trap. The wealthy understand something different. They don't just work for money, they make money work for them. They build systems, they invest in assets, they create businesses, products, and income streams that keep flowing, whether they're on a call or on the beach. And they do it by shifting one key mindset, from laborer to builder, from the one who carries the buckets to the one who builds the pipeline. I remember meeting a man years ago who told me, If you work for money, you'll always be tired. But if you make your money work for you, you can build a life where you rest while money runs the race. That changed how I thought about wealth forever. I started setting aside a portion of my income, no matter how small, and putting it into vehicles that multiplied. Mutual funds, stocks, real estate, business ventures. Not to chase flashy returns, but to build a foundation of freedom. And let me tell you, it doesn't happen overnight. Wealth is built like a garden you plant, you water, you wait. It doesn't shout, it whispers. But those small seeds, sown with consistency and care, become trees that bear fruit year after year. That's why the poor often remain poor, not because they lack opportunity, but because they never take the time to build the systems that buy their time back. Your job may pay the bills, but your investments will one day pay for your freedom. So ask yourself, what are you doing today that will still pay you tomorrow? Are you just earning to spend? Or are you earning to build? A business that runs while you sleep, a rental property that generates monthly income, a skill that can be monetized online. These are the bricks of financial freedom. Don't just be the one who carries the water every day, start building the pipeline. Because when money starts working for you, wealth becomes not just a dream, but a direction. When it comes to building wealth, most people respond emotionally. They chase what's hot, they panic when things cool down, and they miss the window because they were either too distracted or too reactive. But let me tell you something I learned early on. Opportunity doesn't respond to emotions. It responds to preparation. The world doesn't hand success to the loudest or the most anxious. It gives it to the one who was ready before the door opened. You see, money, like life, moves in cycles. Sometimes the tide is in, and it feels like everything's booming. Other times the tide pulls back, and people start to panic. But the wealthy, they think differently. They understand that down markets are discount markets, that fear is the signal for wisdom, not retreat, and that every boom was planted in the bust. But here's the difference. They don't just wait for opportunity, they prepare for it. I remember back in the day, during one of the economic slowdowns, I saw people lose everything, not because the opportunity wasn't there, but because they weren't ready. No margin, no savings, no plan. They had been floating when they should have been anchoring. And meanwhile, those who had been studying, saving, and building quietly, they were the ones who bought the real estate, picked up the undervalued assets, and walked into the next cycle with momentum. So what does that tell you? It tells you that success doesn't come from panic, it comes from planning. If you're emotional about money, you'll be a slave to every swing in the economy. But if you're strategic, if you stay calm and prepared, you'll spot the cracks of light where others see only chaos. Preparation isn't just practical, it's profitable. Start by staying liquid. Don't tie up every penny in lifestyle. Keep reserves, not just so you can survive winter, but so you can plant in it. Study markets. Learn the trends. Understand how cycles work. When people are selling out of fear, the prepared are stepping in with confidence and no recklessness, but readiness. When everyone's rushing, the wealthy are reflecting. And when the world says, not now, the prepared person says, finally. Remember, it's not about luck. It's about readiness. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Build your plan. Grow your knowledge. Get your house in order. Because one day, the next opportunity will knock, and when it does, make sure you're not looking for your shoes. Be ready. Because success always belongs to the prepared. When I started earning more than I needed, the question wasn't, what should I buy? The question became, what should I build next? That's how wealthy people think. They don't stop at one paycheck, one client, one contract. They understand that true wealth-lasting wealth isn't stumbled into by accident. It's built layer by layer with clarity and consistency. And one of the most critical layers is this: multiple income streams. Not 5 on day one, but one made strong, then multiplied by design. You see, the average person builds a lifestyle on one income source. Maybe it's a job, maybe it's a freelance gig. They get paid, they spend, they repeat. And if that one stream dries up, if the job is lost or the client walks there exposed, that's not stability. That's risk hiding under a paycheck. Wealthy people flip that model. They build a strong stream, live below it, and reinvest the overflow into another stream, then another. That's not chasing shiny objects, that's creating leverage. Let me give you a simple example. When I was speaking regularly and earning well, I didn't take those checks and upgrade my wardrobe. I upgraded my options. I took the extra and bought rental property. I took the profit from that and invested in a small business. Then I started earning royalties from things I had built once but continued to pay me over time. Speaking, real estate, investments, products all flowing, not all at once but one at a time. I didn't stumble into it. I built on purpose. And you don't need to be rich to start this. You just need to be intentional. Maybe you start by freelancing on the side. You turn a skill into service. Then you use some of that income to create a digital product or invest in a dividend yielding stock. Maybe you rent a room in your home or invest in a vending machine. The details are less important than the discipline behind it. One stream supports, the other secure. Now I'll tell you something that's both sobering and empowering. Most people will never build multiple streams, not because they can't, but because they won't take the time to learn, to plan, to sacrifice early for abundance later. But you're not most people. If you can make one stream work, you can make another one. And if you can build two, you can build five. Wealth isn't the result of one big break, it's the result of 10 consistent decisions repeated over time with vision and discipline. Don't wait for multiple income streams to happen to you. Build them one by one, deliberately until your life no longer depends on just one economic engine. One of the reasons people stay broke is because they never learn the language of wealth. That's the truth. Money is like a conversation. If you don't speak it, you can't direct it. If you don't understand the words wealthy people use, then wealth will always sound like a foreign language. And when something sounds foreign, we fear it, we avoid it, or worse, we criticize it out of ignorance. But the good news, language can be learned. I remember sitting in a room once with a group of investors. They were tossing around terms like equity, cash flow, appreciation, ROI. I was lost. Felt like I'd stumbled into a meeting where everyone spoke fluent money, and I was still stuck on the alphabet. But instead of feeling ashamed, I got curious. I decided that if I wanted to grow up financially, I had to grow up linguistically. I had to learn what money meant, not just the dollars in my pocket, but the words people used to build empires with. So I made a decision, 3 new terms a week. That was it. I started small. Compound interest, asset, liability, passive income. Every week, 3 terms. Not just memorizing them, but understanding them. How they work, where they apply, why they matter. And something incredible happened. The more terms I learned, the more connections I saw, I started recognizing patterns. I could finally follow the conversation when wealthy people spoke and not just nod politely, but engage with confidence. Why does this matter? Because when you grow your financial vocabulary, you grow your financial identity. You start to think differently because language shapes thought. The person who understands the word equity sees a house differently than someone who just sees rent. The one who understands inflation thinks about savings with a sharper lens. And the one who knows what return on investment means will ask better questions before spending a dime. If you want to play the game, learn the rules. And the rules are written in the language of finance. Don't wait until you need to understand a term. Learn it now before it costs you. 3 terms a week. That's 150 words a year. In 5 years, you'll speak wealth like it's your first language. You don't need to become a financial advisor, but you do need to stop being financially illiterate. Because if you don't learn the language of money, money will never stay long enough to learn your name. Let me tell you something simple but powerful. The future is not something you stumble into, it's something you build with precision. If you're not designing your wealth, you're drifting toward debt. And drifting, my friend, never leads to the land of freedom. It takes vision, it takes a map, It takes what I call the 5-year plan. You want to change your life financially? Then stop thinking in weeks. Stop thinking only about the next paycheck. Start thinking in years 5 of them. Sit down with yourself, not in chaos, not in a rush, but in clarity. Ask the question, where do I want to be financially 5 years from now? Write it down. Maybe it's having $100,000 saved. Maybe it's being debt-free. Maybe it's owning a business, investing in real estate, or earning 6 figures. Whatever it is, write it in ink, not in your head. When I first did this, I had no wealth. None. I was broke. But I wasn't broken, I just didn't have a direction. So I wrote a simple goal, build $10,000 in savings in 5 years. Not $1 million, not $10 million, just $10,000. And once that target was real, I could start engineering the road toward it. Not all at once. Year 1, save $2,000. Year 2, increase it. By year 5, I had not only saved the 10, I'd learned how to multiply it. That's the power of direction. You reverse engineer the dream. If your goal is to be financially independent in 5 years, then what does year 4 need to look like? What about year 3? Then break it into quarters, into months. Every month becomes a brick in the wall you're building. Every action becomes intentional. You no longer wake up to survive, you wake up to advance. It's not magic, it's math, backed by vision. Most people don't reach their goals, not because they're not capable, but because they never put the goal on paper. They say, I want to be rich, but they don't define it, measure it, or plan it, and so it evaporates. But wealth doesn't grow in fog, it grows in clarity. You give your 5-year plan a voice, a structure, a schedule. Post it where you see it, read it often, adjust when needed, but don't abandon it. Because 5 years from now, you'll arrive somewhere financially, might as well make sure it's where you intended. One of the biggest mistakes people make when money starts coming in is they start spending it like it'll never stop. The first taste of profit, and suddenly the car gets shinier, the apartment gets bigger, and the wardrobe starts to look like it belongs on a magazine cover. Now, let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with rewards. But the reward should never come before the reinvestment. If you want wealth that lasts, you've got to grow the machine before you grow the lifestyle. I remember when I made my first real profit in business, not a paycheck real profit. I was tempted, of course. My list of wants was ready, new clothes, a trip, a few things to impress the neighbors. But instead, I sat myself down and asked the question that changed everything. How can I make this money work harder than I did to earn it? That's when the idea of reinvestment clicked for me. Instead of taking that profit and spending it outward, I poured it back inward, into tools, into people, into skills. And that one reinvestment became the reason I never had to chase money again. It started chasing me. You see, the average person makes a profit and then consumes it. But the wealthy, they redirect it. They multiply it. If your business earns $2,000 extra this month, don't buy a couch, buy a course. Upgrade your systems. Hire someone to help you go further. If your side hustle brings in $500, don't just spend it, use it to reach more customers. Turn profit into power, not into pleasure. Why does this matter? Because financial maturity is not about how much you make, it's about how you manage what you make. And management means discipline. It means choosing to delay gratification, not deny it, but delay it. Wealth is not built on reward, it's built on reinvestment. When you grow your capacity, your reward will naturally follow. And that reward will be bigger, stronger, and more sustainable than the one you were reaching for in a moment of impulse. Every dollar of profit has a question attached to it. Do you want to spend me once, or do you want me to work for you forever? If you're wise, you'll pick the second. Because when you reinvest today, you won't just make more money tomorrow, you'll become the kind of person who deserves to. Staying motivated on the journey to wealth isn't about waiting for inspiration to strike like lightning, it's about creating a rhythm of progress that fuels itself. I've learned over the years that motivation isn't some magical force that appears when you feel like it. It's a discipline, a practice, a way of living that keeps your eyes fixed on the prize, even when the road gets tough. The wealthy understand this. Well, they don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect mood. They create momentum by tracking their wins regularly and celebrating progress, no matter how small. When I was starting out, I made a habit of reviewing my progress every single week. I didn't wait for big wins. I counted every step forward, every dollar saved, every call made, every lesson learned. Those small victories stacked up like bricks in a wall, and soon the foundation was strong enough to build a house of wealth. Remember, it's progress, not perfection, that moves the needle. You don't need to be flawless. You need to be consistent. One of the most powerful motivators I've found is the stories of others who started with nothing and built empires through grit and wisdom. Reading biographies or listening to the journeys of great achievers rewires your mind. It shifts your mindset from scarcity to possibility. When you see how they faced failures and setbacks, but kept going, it inspires you to do the same. Wealth isn't just about money, it's about resilience. You're walking a path that has been traveled before, and there is no shame in learning from those who have walked it well. The company you keep also plays a massive role in your motivation. I've always believed that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If your circle is filled with doubt, excuses, and negativity, your own motivation will wither like a plant without sunlight. But when you surround yourself with people who are ambitious, disciplined, and optimistic, their energy becomes contagious. They hold you accountable. They remind you why you started. They push you when you want to quit. In every journey toward wealth, there will be days of doubt, distractions, and fatigue. That's why creating a system to keep motivation alive is crucial. Track your wins weekly. Celebrate the small steps. Read inspiring stories and keep your circle clean and focused. This isn't about some overnight success. It's about building a lifestyle of persistence. And persistence, my friend, is the true currency of wealth. Keep moving forward and remember, every small win is a deposit into your future success. Waking up like the wealthy isn't just about setting the alarm a little earlier than most. It's about starting your day with intention, clarity, and purpose. I've seen firsthand how the people who achieve the most in life don't just stumble out of bed and react to whatever comes their way. Instead, they build morning rituals that prepare their mind and spirit for success long before the world demands their attention. The first secret is to rise early. Not because you need to work more hours, but because early mornings offer a quiet window of opportunity free from distractions and noise. When I began waking up before the sun, I discovered how much more time I had to focus on what mattered most. That calm, undisturbed moment allows you to set your day's course rather than being tossed about by the demands of emails, texts, and social media notifications. And here's an important tip. Resist the urge to reach for your phone as soon as you wake up. That little device can hijack your mind with other people's agendas before you even have a chance to think about your own. Instead, spend the first minutes of your day reviewing your goals. Remind yourself why you're pursuing wealth, why you're investing in your future. When you hold your vision clearly in your mind, it becomes a compass that guides your every action. Reading something that grows you, whether it's a few pages of a book, an insightful article, or motivational thoughts plant seeds of wisdom and inspiration. I often recommend starting the day by feeding your mind with knowledge that elevates your thinking. This daily habit compounds just like money does, turning small investments in learning into massive returns over time. Finally, write down your top 3 priorities for the day. This simple act creates focus. It prevents your energy from scattering across too many tasks and keeps you aligned with your long-term objectives. Wealth doesn't come from busy work. It comes from focused, intentional actions that build value consistently. Morning routines aren't just habits. They are the foundation of long-term outcomes. I know from experience that how you start your day influences how you spend your day. How you spend your days builds your weeks, and your weeks build your future. Wealth is a journey of daily disciplines, and the morning is where the path begins. Wake up early, protect your mind from distractions, center yourself on your goals, nourish your thinking, and decide your priorities with clarity. Do this day after day, and watch how your life transforms from reaction to creation. Your mornings are the blueprint of your success. Make them count. Debt has a reputation for dragging people down, but it doesn't have to be that way. If you learn to use it wisely, debt can become a tool, a lever that propels your wealth instead of holding you back. The key is to treat debt with respect and strategy, never letting it run your life or control your financial future. The first principle is to use debt only for things that put money back in your pocket or increase in value over time. For example, borrowing to invest in real estate that generates rental income, or using a loan to grow a business that produces steady cash flow. These are examples of leveraging debt to build wealth. You want your debt to be working for you, not against you. When debt is used to acquire assets that appreciate or generate income, it becomes a powerful tool for accelerating financial growth. On the other hand, consumer debt, the kind that comes from credit cards, personal loans for non-essential items, or buying things that depreciate quickly, is a trap that steals your future. Eliminating this type of debt should be your top priority. I learned early on that one of the most effective ways to handle this is the snowball method. Start by paying off the smallest debt first while making minimum payments on the rest. Once the smallest is gone, move to the next, and so on. This approach builds momentum, boosts your confidence, and gives you quick wins that fuel your financial discipline. Credit cards themselves aren't evil. They are tools that can either help or hurt you depending on how you use them. The rule is simple. Only use credit cards if you can pay off the full balance every month. Carrying a balance means you're paying interest, which is money that could otherwise be invested or saved. Using credit cards responsibly can build your credit score and offer convenience, but letting balances linger is like pouring your hard-earned money down the drain. I remember when I first started managing my finances, I had to learn these lessons the hard way. I saw many people around me burdened by high-interest debt, struggling just to keep up with minimum payments. Watching them, I realized that debt without a plan is a poison, but debt with a plan is a catalyst. It's about discipline, clear goals, and using leverage smartly. So, if you want to turn debt into leverage, be selective about what you borrow for. Focus on assets and investments that will multiply your income. Aggressively pay down any consumer debt, and never let interest work against you by carrying credit card balances. When used carefully, debt is not a chain, but a tool that, when wielded with wisdom, can elevate your financial life to new heights. Debt isn't the enemy. Misuse is. Control your debt, or it will control you. Giving without going broke is one of the most powerful principles you can embrace on your journey to wealth. It's not about how much you give, it's about giving with intention and discipline. When you set aside a clear percentage, 10% for giving, you create a rhythm that aligns your financial success with your values and generosity. This isn't a casual decision or a whim. It's a deliberate choice to balance growth with gratitude. When you commit to giving, it's important to do so strategically. Giving blindly without thought or plan can drain your resources and leave you feeling depleted. Instead, focus your contributions where they have the greatest impact. Support causes that resonate with your heart and align with your beliefs. Give to people who will honor your generosity, and invest in situations where your giving can multiply, whether that means helping someone start a business, funding education, or supporting a community project that creates lasting change. Giving in this way is not just an act of kindness, it's a financial strategy. Contribution creates a cycle of abundance. When you give, you open channels for prosperity to flow back to you. It's like planting seeds in fertile soil. The more you give thoughtfully, the more you invite growth, not just for others, but for yourself as well. I've seen this principle play out time and again. Those who give with clarity and purpose often find unexpected opportunities and returns in their own lives. It's also vital to separate giving from your essential expenses and investments. By setting aside a fixed percentage for giving, You ensure that your generosity does not compromise your financial health. This discipline allows you to build wealth steadily, knowing that your giving is a sustainable practice rather than a drain on your resources. Think of it as balancing the books of your life, not just your finances, but your spirit. Personally, I've experienced the deep satisfaction and unexpected rewards that come from strategic giving. It's not about showing off or gaining favor. It's about living in harmony with the principle that wealth is more than money. It's about impact, influence, and the legacy you leave behind. Giving unlocks joy and connects you to something greater than yourself. So, if you want to give without going broke, make it a priority to set aside a clear percentage for giving each month. Choose your causes wisely and look for opportunities where your generosity can multiply. Remember, wealth is not just about accumulation. It's about contribution. When you give thoughtfully, you open the door to abundance in all areas of your life. Generosity is the key that unlocks the door to lasting wealth. As we come to the close of this journey together, remember this. Building wealth is not about luck or quick fixes. It is about consistent, disciplined action rooted in clear thinking and purposeful living. The habits you form today, the choices you make in how you manage your money, your time, and your mindset, these are the seeds from which your financial future will grow. Wealth is a byproduct of your daily decisions, your dedication to learning, and your commitment to acting boldly even when the path is uncertain. I challenge you now to take ownership of your financial life. Start by measuring where you are today, then craft your plan to move forward with focus and determination. Surround yourself with people who elevate your thinking and hold you accountable. Make generosity part of your rhythm, knowing that giving is a powerful force that expands your capacity to receive. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the ideal conditions. Those are illusions that keep most people stuck. The time to act is now. Think financially, work consistently, build wealth with focus, and trust in the power of time to turn your efforts into lasting success. Your future is waiting. Go claim it.